Joining us for this first segment is Coach Mike Knowles, chairman of Florida Half Century. How are you today, sir?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So you guys have, this is a big weekend for you. You've got sort of back-to-back tournaments and your Hall of Fame going on at the same time. Fill us in.
Jack, this is a culmination of the year, and it goes very fast. In Florida Half Century, we play year-round. We never take any time off. We have 2 tournaments a month, 24 year, and 14 of those are right here in Polk County because of the central location, because they treat us so well here. Central Florida Sports and all their sites, directors, they treat us fantastic. But I live in Bradenton. I drove over the back way this morning and kind of thought about the day, and so we had this thing going on, so to speak, and then we have a half-century board meeting this afternoon, and then the Hall of Fame induction tonight with 10 great inductees.
And a couple of local inductees, you said.
Yes, Jim Phillips and Don Whitmer are 2 guys, are Polk County guys. They're both been around for over 25 years or so, and just great people, sponsor types, managers, players, great people.
Mike, there's been so many 50s and 60s tournaments that you all host in this area. What makes this area so appealing to hosting events?
Well, you know the phrase location, location, location.
That's right.
We actually have teams coming from Tallahassee, Jacksonville, south of Miami, and all over. And you can come Sunshine State Parkway. There are various ways to get here, but location's primary. However, Polk County being so large, every community has its own complex, softball complex, and some has, of course, Lakeland has several. For instance, we start at 8 o'clock in the morning for this is a 60, 65, and 70 plus state championship. We'll be playing at in Winter Haven by Polk College. We play at Auburndale. We play at Walker Road. We play at Southwest right here in Lakeland.
And you've got about 1,000 participants coming in for the weekend.
Oh, at least we have 86 teams.
Okay.
Average about 15 players, a couple coaches, 10 or 15 family members.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you keep growing these events to where they keep getting better and better every year?
That's a great question. Basically, the teams do it themselves because they're always looking for somebody to turn in 50 or turn in 60 or 65 or 70. Or if you're turning 60, all the 60 teams in the area play, well, what are the ages? They play leagues. Yeah. And they find these younger people coming in. And you guys may not think are young, but a guy at 69 that can really play, all the 70 teams, say in this area, are going to try to recruit that guy to play for them this following year. You can play the entire year if you turn that age in sometime during the year. So I started playing Florida Half Century when I was 49 because my birthday was in December, so I got an extra year.
Okay.
That was only last year.
So and you were so we'll brag on you a little bit here. So you were renowned for being a good leadoff guy. So what makes a great leadoff man in slow pitch softball?
Well, thank you for saying that. I did take great pride in that. I learned coming right out of baseball. I pulled everything, and I realized that they'll just start overloading one side. So I got somebody on the team that knew something about more than I did about base hitting, and they taught me how to go to right field. And then once I got pretty good, and I got one of the best players that's ever in the world is a guy named Bruce Meade. And Bruce is in every Hall of Fame you can imagine in softball in the nation. And Bruce was about 6'6", about 260, looked like Superman, was a real student of the game. But I got on a team where I played with Bruce, and my job was to get on base for him. I batted first, he batted second. So I learned to take walks. I learned how to hit with 2 strikes and do anything I could just get on base. That's what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do.
Yeah, well, because slow pitch softball, people normally think of it as a power game, right? So a lot of long balls and all the rest, but you got to have somebody on base for the guy behind you to drive them in. So
once you get past your top 10 teams, though, every team will have 3 or 4 of those guys, but the rest are all base hitters. Yeah, so they have to. That's how you score runs.
Yep. So Florida Half Century remains the largest senior softball league in the country.
Nation. That's
okay.
Right. That's correct.
So how many teams right now?
We're right at close to 180.
Okay.
The second is out of Texas. I understand their numbers are about 135, 140. So we're We were up to, a couple of years ago, we were up to 192. That fluctuates.
Yeah.
Right now, we have lower numbers in the 50s and higher numbers in the 60s. And that you get an era, a decade or so, where guys aren't playing as much. Like, I was wondering the same thing. I contacted a couple of the national chairpersons and asked them, what's it look like in your 40s group? Well, our numbers are down. Well, that tells us that's why our numbers are down in the 50s.
Yeah.
But we still have 75 50s teams. And we have about 110 of the 60 plus.
I think it kind of, same reflection on like golf and a lot
Absolutely.
of the other,
Yeah.
a lot of the other sports. Guys are just doing less, finding other hobbies. So.
Yeah, but kind of switching a little bit, Mike. You've had a great career as a softball player. You still do, But kind of, you've also had a legendary career as a high school coach and official with multiple sports. Just kind of talk about that transition and how your Hall of Fame career in both really made you better at one and the other.
Well, thanks for asking that question. It almost brings tears to my eyes. 2 words: God and my wife Sherry. I guess that's 3 words.
It's all right.
God smiled on me. My wife and I met on a blind date in Haines City 53 years ago, December 16th. And not one time in all those years I was playing ball or coaching, officiating, she never said no. But I learned years ago to make her a part of it. Matter of fact, when I became chairman 8 years ago, she was the first female we used on our desk to sign in, whatever. Then we realized we got to do more of this because guys act a whole lot nicer when they come in at 7:30 in the morning, and they do. And so through the years, we've had several ladies work at the tables with us.
And you're in 4 Hall of Fames. So you're FHSAA as a official, Athletic Association's Coaches Hall of Fame, Florida Half Century Softball Hall of Fame, and as well as the National High School Athletic Coaches Association Hall of Fame. So a fabled career and a little tie-in to some football action going on this weekend, where you coach at both Lakeland High School that plays this weekend and Manatee High School that plays this weekend, and may very well wind up playing each other for the championship. So.
And that's no different than it was back in the 80s and 90s. A backstory, I was Bill Castle's first year as head coach. I was his secondary coach.
Okay.
That's how far we went back. And Bill and I were great. We played golf together and played tennis together. We were just good buddies. And then I got my first coordinator job in Pensacola. After 2 years, I was asked to come to Manatee High School because Kathleen was in our district along with Lakeland. And Tom Atwell, you guys, if you don't know that, he was a great coach in his day as well, ran what is called the gangster or the run and shoot, a fullback, 2 wingbacks, and 2 receivers. While I was at Lakeland, I learned from Bill how to defend the run and shoot. So that's why I was hired at Manatee in 1979. So, and then in '81, Joe Canan came in. And he and Bill are considered the 2 top coaches in the history of Florida for wins and state championships, things like that. So, just right place, right time, many times.
And not to sell you short, also coached baseball and golf. You were quite successful as a girls' golf coach.
Well, thank you.
So.
It just, I mean, and having that officiating and coaching career for so long, you must have, and being in a hotbed of football like Polk County, you must have officiated and coached some unbelievable great players that went on to major college and NFL careers.
Absolutely. And the name we were thinking about earlier is Peter Warwick.
That's exactly it.
Southeast High School in Florida State and playing in the NFL.
That's right.
But yeah, I got to officiate some guys like Peter and some other great players that went on. I got to coach Tracy Sanders at Manatee High School, who was our quarterback. And we, in the North-South game that year, you were only allowed like six receivers, 6 DBs because of the numbers. And I got a guy hurt. And so we had 2 quarterbacks. So Tracy played the first and third quarter. And I kept telling him, you're going to play, you're going to be a corner in college. No, I'm not. I'm going to be a quarterback. Florida State recruited me as a quarterback. Well, after one spring, he was the other corner of Deion Sanders on national championship team. So there were some great ones, Alvoid Mays, Farron Horn, some guys I coached in the NFL for 8-9 years or so. And then many in baseball as well.
Well, I hope you will come back and join us again. Thank you for coming on, and have a successful weekend.
Thank you so much for your
Enjoy
time.
it.
Appreciate it.